TYT Sports, everybody, Ben Mankewicz here. This is going to be an interesting weekend, of course, for Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, after the AP story breaks yesterday that a law enforcement official, an unnamed law enforcement official, sent the tape of the Ray Rice beating in the elevator to someone at the NFL's office, and a 12-second voicemail was played back for the Associated Press from an NFL number, and a woman's voice says that she's seen the tape. You're right, she says, it's terrible. So that flies in the face of Goodell's statement that the NFL, that no one at the NFL had seen the tape. Obviously, it seems someone had seen the tape. However, this source told the AP, of course, that he has no idea whether anyone else at the NFL saw it. He can't possibly know that. So the issue then comes down to, is Roger Goodell lying about somebody in the NFL seeing the tape? And I can't, for the life of me, figure out one reason why Roger Goodell would be lying about that. This is not a defense of Roger Goodell, because what is far more likely, what is always far more likely in situations where many people believe in a vast conspiracy, is incompetence. And the NFL did not try very hard to get the tape. It seems like they called law enforcement and were rebuffed and went, okay. They've offered that nonsense line that they didn't call the Rubin Hotel and Casino because they wanted to get it from a credible source, which sounds like a fine thing to say, but actually makes no sense, because where do you think police got it from? The police are just the middleman in this situation. The tape doesn't become any more credible whether you get it from the people who shot it or the law enforcement officials who took it. What it does suggest is something that exists in life, which is a very cozy relationship between police and the powers that be. They're working in tandem, and the NFL didn't want to exceed that. Clearly, the NFL could have gotten the tape. They could have gotten the tape probably the same way the TMZ got the tape. They could have paid for it. I don't know for sure that TMZ paid for it, but they're willing to. And I don't even think there's anything wrong with paying for a tape. You don't necessarily want to pay for a story, but a piece of information, a piece of hardware like that, a tape, that's fine. And TMZ, that's what they do. Whatever TMZ paid for it, it paid off for them. So a lot of talk that Goodell must go because his credibility is shot and the NFL's credibility is shot. He always talks about protecting the shield of the NFL, which is a particularly dumb thing to say. He has obviously tarnished the shield. I really don't know whether he should go. We should obviously find out how this plays out. How many female employees are there at the NFL who presumably are above assistant level? I don't say that to be in any way sexist. I'm just saying that we can narrow the playing field of who got this tape, presuming the NFL didn't send it to a low-ranking official, but someone who saw it. And what did she do with it? Did she put it in her drawer? Did she get it on a Thursday and think, this is big news, I got to go tell Raj? And then she took a 3-day weekend, and then it was Monday, and she was like, oh, I'm embarrassed. I've had this for 4 days. I'm just going to pretend I never got it. People do dumb things all the time. There are definitely people here at the Young Turks who would make a decision like that. So I don't know. I don't have any idea. But what is much more likely is that they didn't really care. They didn't care about domestic violence. Roger Goodell has no incentive to protect Ray Rice, no incentive to protect any player, let alone a player who isn't a star player, who's a well-known player but not an elite player. And the notion that he would somehow protect Ray, I think that if Goodell had seen the video, he probably would have had a much more significant suspension on Ray Rice, and maybe none of this would have happened. But I think he didn't see it. I think they didn't care. I don't think they take domestic violence seriously. And they sort of thought, okay, well, this is being adjudicated. He's largely admitted to it. This other video's bad enough. 2 games. Oh, that was terrible. Let's make it 6. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But of course, now that the tape has come out, it's more serious than that. This is a degree of, you could call it incompetence. It would appear to me to be more a case of indifference, which in the case of domestic violence in the NFL, coming less than 2 years after Javon Belcher murdered his girlfriend and then killed himself, is inexcusable. It would have been inexcusable ever. Now the NFL has 2 other cases, Ray McDonald in San Francisco and Greg Hardy in Carolina. Greg Hardy has been found guilty already by a judge of misdemeanor assault on a woman. Now, because of the peculiarities of North Carolina law, even if you're convicted in a bench trial of a misdemeanor, you can get a jury trial. Once the charge is upgraded, you can then get a jury trial. So now Greg Hardy, already convicted, still has a jury trial coming. I would say that considering he's been found guilty by a judge, that's probably enough for the Panthers to go ahead and suspend him, the league to go ahead and suspend him. We'll see whether he's on the field Sunday when the Panthers play. And the McDonald case in San Francisco is just starting to work its way through the courts. Bottom line, this is either, again, indifference or incompetence. Is that a reason enough for Goodell to go? By the way, Roger Goodell, son of a senator, $44.2 million in compensation last year. 44.2. Another fun story. This happens at the Rubin Hotel and Casino, which was built for, I believe, $2.4 billion. Do I have that right? I believe I do have that right. $2.4 billion, and just sold for $90 million. 3%. Hotel is now closed. It will reopen in some capacity to these guys who just got themselves a great deal. The downside of their great deal is they own a hotel and casino in Atlantic City.